have to, but.
Well, that's the wetland.
Yeah,
Would
I
be
can
the-
see it's gonna happen.
Have you driven out there?
I haven't been out.
Good morning, it's now 8 o'clock. We'll go ahead and start this March 3rd meeting, honoring our nation with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda this morning is Sheriff Gatton, or Jason Spencer.
Good morning, Jason Spencer, Chief Deputy with the County Sheriff's Department. What I sent out to you was, we are still dealing with the crash from AJ Western and downstairs 9500 South from last March. It's in segregation, so we received another check of $2,803.50. So we are holding that, we got that last month, so I was really close to the deadline when I called, so we kind of skipped the month, we're in a hurry on it, so we're just asking if that be deposited and the auditor move that over to our garage fund where the money came out of to build the car, replacing the car from last year.
How much money do you have coming in yet, Jason? Or do you know?
No, I've never, in my time dealing with this in years, I've never had one do this as far as a crash. And I don't know what the holdup is, but the Travelers is still working on it. Angie's been great working on getting back with us, but I don't know. It's still in segregation as of right now. And actually, I wrote this letter of the payments and outs. I did this in October of 2019 is when they asked for the letterhead. So, and we're still not settled on that one. So.
Make a motion to go ahead and approve the transfer.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second, any further discussion?
The check has not been deposited in county general yet, though?
No, not to your approval, not to remove it.
I have nothing else.
With nothing else, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the transfer, please signify by raising your right hand, and opposed the same. That motion passes. Thank you. Next up is Mark Sturtevant.
Morning.
Good morning.
As you remember, during the budget process for 2020, we discussed some equipment to the tune of around $88,000. You funded, the council did fund $60,000 excuse me, of that. Asked me to come back with the actual numbers, which is what I've done here. What we're requesting is an additional $28,309 to buy the tractor, the vehicle for the maintenance technician, and to equip that vehicle. And I broke it down there for you. Gave you the comparison between the Kubota and the John Deere. The Kubota did come in a little less. The particular spreader that we're looking at for the tractor, there's only one manufacturer that makes one like that. It's remote control. So I only have one price, but I can tell you the price on that one is the same as what we paid about 4 years ago for the current one that we have. So the price has not increased on the spreader. The vehicle quotes there, it is compared the Ford with the Chevy, 3/4 tons on both of those. In the black there you see the Chevy did come in a little less about 792 less. Did you get this sheet?
I don't have what you're talking about.
No, we don't have that.
Didn't get it?
Is that what you gave yesterday?
Sorry about that. Just some copies. Seen Doris.
I knew it had to be here someplace, but it wasn't.
Okay, we can back up there. So compared on the tractors, the Kubota with the John Deere, the Kubota came in a little less. They're offering a little more for the trade-in of the existing John Deere that we have now. So we're requesting to purchase, approval to purchase the Kubota F3990. And then the ice melt drop spreader from Vent Track. Again, they're the only ones that offer that particular style that is remote control versus having a box mounted controller. So, and that was $5,385. Back down to the vehicle quotes, the Ford versus the Chevy, 3/4 ton. The Chevy did come in 792 less. The lead time is significantly more than the Ford. But what we're requesting is the Ford Transit 3/4 ton. The MR is the mid-roof, that's the higher box on the van. Chevy does not offer that option, but I wanted to give you a comparison of what they were running. And that is $31,573. And then under the tools and equipment quotes, those are, as you see, they're broken down into general categories. The plumbing tools, those are specific plumbing tools, pro presses, hex tools, powered in hand, rehawk tools. The general tools, those are generally battery and power operated, a combination of those. And then the van equipment and storage system. What we selected was a particular system that could be transferable to different vehicles should we choose to turn these over like we do the pickup trucks. I'm kind of thinking the van's going to stay with us a while. It's not something we're going to want to turn in often, but if we do, this equipment storage system is transferable to different manufacturers of vans.
What is that equipment storage system? Is this
It's,
shelves and stuff inside the van, Mark?
Yeah, things that hold the tools in, bins and compartments. It's called DeWalt Tough System. And you can modify it to fit any van. Instead of going to, say, I'm drawing a blank, out there in Industrial Park.
A. Jones.
W.A. Jones, and having them rack it out to a specific van, well, that racking system may not fit if we decide to go to a GM van the next time. This DeWalt Tough system will adapt to any type of vehicle.
Is that something you put in?
Yes, we do it ourselves. Plus, it also, you can take it out of the van, unlock it out of the van, secure it to a cart, and wheel it into a building. So you can work out of that.
Mark, these hand tools you're talking about, is one person using them, or are you gonna have different people using these hand tools?
This would, all these tools and equipment would be specified in the van, specific to the van. So yes, the maintenance technician, now if somebody's, one of the other guys are helping him, of course they would have access to them, but the maintenance technician would be primarily the responsible party for those tools. Am I answering your question?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I like that, but yeah, you answered my question. For a simple fact is that, you know, most people nowadays, they carry their own tools. That's, you know, because it's so easy, if somebody else is footing the bill, it's so easy to break something and want a replacement on it. But if it's yours, then you have a tendency to take care of it a little bit better than you do if you're using somebody else's. That's the only problem I have with that one.
You talking about the miscellaneous hand tools?
Yes. I
Not the
mean,
specialty tools?
no, because I know some of them, you can only use them for certain things, so.
Right.
But I'm just talking about like your everyday hand tools that, you know, that maybe it might be something that, you know, a one-time deal, you know, and then we have to work something out or something. I don't know. That's the only part that I don't like about that. And I do have a question on your van up there.
Yes.
Why do you need a 3/4 ton van? Wouldn't a half-ton work?
Well, there's a possibility, but the reason we request the 3/4 ton is what we want to be able to do is also carry supplies and equipment. Like if he needs to go to the lumberyard, he can haul drywall and 2x4s or whatever he's carrying along with all these tools.
I would just think that probably the half-ton would get better gas mileage for just driving around town here with it than a 3/4 ton. But
Maintenance department doesn't have any vehicle like this now? This will be something brand new?
All the guys are using their own vehicles.
Okay.
When they use their own vehicles, do they apply for mileage reimbursement?
Yes.
What's the plan on where you're going to store this vehicle?
We haven't made a definitive decision. My personal thoughts are the individual would take the van home with him and pay the reimbursement, whatever that rate is, for taking the vehicle home. I know there's a fee associated to taking a vehicle home, but that's my thoughts on that.
Do you,
We can keep it parked in the parking lot. You can come in, you know, in the winter and every morning and clean it off and work from there. I mean, that's a possibility, but
Do we still have any garage space available?
do you anticipate a reduction in the reimbursement on the mileage?
well, when we hired the maintenance technician to start this year, with the understanding that we were going to get him a vehicle, he was not going to use his own vehicle. But until we get the vehicle, we've been paying him mileage. So can I say a reduction? No, because this is a new position that started in 2020. And yes, he's accrued a little bit this year, but nothing to speak of. The problem is carrying the tools. You can't, I mean, if he's got to come in the morning and go to some place and load his vehicle, his personal vehicle with the counter tools to go to a job site, I mean, we're wasting an enormous amount of time. And again, this equipment is pre-approved, my understanding. We were just polishing the numbers.
Well, I think there's some things we didn't talk about as far as take-home vehicles and storage of it and maintaining the equipment so it's not stolen because it's left set in a parking lot overnight. And so I think that's why these questions are popping up. That's not a negative towards you. I think it's just us trying to make sure that our investment is taken care of.
Seems like take-home is wiser than the parking lot because of theft of the tools and things like that.
Will whatever employee has this vehicle and the tools, do they keep it inside a locked garage at home, or do they live in town, or in the country, or?
They live in town.
So if it's sitting out in front of their house unlocked, it's not any more secure than if it's sitting in our back parking lot unlocked, or locked? You guys keep the snow blowers in a garage, right? But there's no,
That's all I can fit in there.
there's no garage space for the vehicle?
I will let you know that we cannot approve this today. We can't
Correct.
because it wasn't in early enough to advertise. So this is more for your information.
Mark, I do appreciate the breakdown and how specific it is, so thank you for that work.
The vendors that you're buying from, are they local?
Yes. The Ford is from City Ford. The tractor would be from Moore. Some of the tools are sourced out of Fort Wayne, but some of them are local. Actually, Ace Hardware has been very, very competitive on sourcing some of these.
I have no further questions on that.
And just for clarification, the additional approval for fuel is for this vehicle?
I apologize for that. That got put in there, and then I realized that that's actually in my budget already.
Oh,
You already
okay.
approved $4,000 for fuel for the vehicle. It's in the budget. Already.
Thank you.
Anything else from Mark? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Kim Erdly.
Morning.
This is new to your information that I handed out for your packets. This is our 2021 budget interpretation map, which the DLGF will update quite frequently through this process as we submit the required data. County Assessor. I handed out some information for your packets. Through the process that we go through here, required for certain data submissions and neighborhood factor updates and those kind of things. This map will reflect for you. Tiffany printed these off for me in color so that you can see how the DLGF will color coordinate everything as far as when we start with our sales data submission. That is the first step in this process. Obviously, you have to be compliant with each step before you can move on to the next. We submitted our ratio study on Thursday, the 27th. We're required to have submitted by the 28th, which, with the way the February dates fall and everything, it was March 1st, so Friday was the due date. We received word yesterday that we had some non-compliancy issues as far as formatting issues with the ratio study. This is everything with their review process. Everything has to be in a standard format, which I provided with the ratio study guidance, and you can see how, you know, they're pretty strict in how they require everything to be formatted. We fixed those issues yesterday. I had a message from them this morning that our formatted files were all compliant, so it goes on to the next step in the review process, and that's where they'll look at the actual sales that we've used, and then the way that our formulas have all been calculated for everything needed within their guidelines. So we'll maybe hear back from them today. We're just not real sure. This process can sometimes take a week or so. Hopefully we'll get approval within the next week. Anyway, that's the plan. And then we can move on in preparation of our notice of assessments or our Form 11s, because we have to have this compliance on the ratio study before we can move on for submitting our Form 11s, our notice of assessments. Does anybody have any questions for me with anything I've provided? Or?
I have none.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to the commissioner report.
Thank you. I don't have much different than what you guys had. A few months ago, Scott Wagner, with our blessing, looked towards, can we find a vehicle maintenance vendor who is willing to take on our county vehicles, not counting sheriff cars and highway trucks, and, perhaps give a lower price for getting all the work. I personally was a little skeptical of it because I tried the same thing when I was in charge of EMS. I tried to find one place to take care of the ambulances, and it just doesn't work out very well because you have many different things. Anyway, Scott reported back to us yesterday. He had 3 quotes, and we have not had time to go over the quotes yet, but we will be looking at that. I do want to applaud him for at least, trying to get it done. Charlotte Blair, and you might remember Charlotte as Charlotte Hurd. Charlotte is a local resident who has been the president of the DAR for Indiana for 3 years. Her term's up. As a gift, the DAR gives her a plaque of her choice, and she has decided she wants a plaque talking about the courthouse and placing the plaque on the courthouse lawn. We approved that with Mark's blessings too, because Mark has to approve everything that goes on down there at the courthouse. So we're kind of excited about that, and not sure when it'll happen. We talked to Mark. A question that came up today, though, if I may ask Mark, if you don't care, because it's important to me, is Mark, on this van, that's okay, is there going to be a bulkhead behind the driver?
Yes.
Okay.
That's built into.
If you've ever seen these things in a wreck, everything comes forward. So that kind of scared me when I sit here thinking about that.
We're having to deal with that.
Good deal. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then we heard from Brandon Forrester, who gave us a highway update. So that's about all I have. You have in front of you, I think, the information that we sent out, the update from the commissioners. Ironically, yesterday, if you want to pass those out with me.
Excuse me, Don, before we move on to that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how many vehicles the county has excluding sheriff's department and?
No.
Okay.
I'll get that answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, good
Yeah.
question. Got to get that answer. Ironically, yesterday, this was in the paper, Allen County Commissioners discussed almost exactly what we have been talking about. So now, what we've been talking about isn't a secret, I think, because people we have to refer to is, how can we limit the numbers at the jail? What are some of the things that we can do? I think our committee, I'm not on it, George was on it. Tim, were you on that committee? The jail task force?
Yeah, jail task force, yes. And so just,
Okay, so you guys could speak more to that, but anyway, to make a long story short, we think a program is to try to get people into mental health programs that have a problem, or into a training facility to train them for a job that keep them from coming back to jail. And I think that's kind of the idea of this whole program. In the meantime, we have found some land that is available. Can't think of the name of the street, but it's across from the Council on Aging. So,
Opportunity Drive,
opportunity. It's an opportunity. Thank you.
700 block of North Opportunity Drive.
There you go. Spoken like a true policeman, knows where he's going. So I think we just would like for you to have this information and have our blessings to sort of continue to negotiate this idea, so.
I was interested by the differences in the two appraisals. There was a very large difference. I did see on the appraisal from Schrader, he noted the 3.5 acres that were basically not able to be used.
That's our retention pond.
Do we intend to do any type of soil samples or survey before we purchase to make sure that we can build on the rest of it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Don, do you look at down the road as far as,
I feel your pain.
the building, aren't we kind of landlocking ourselves out there with that ground? If we're looking at maybe down the road as a new jail, a place to put a new jail? I mean,
Yes.
have you done any studies or is there ground beyond that we might be able to get down the road?
No, I don't think we have. But you're right. I mean, I thought, but I'm not clear on the landlocked part, but
Well, I mean, I don't know how much Mr. Armstrong owns out there, but I don't know where he stops, and is that ground you're talking about, is that going to be big enough to handle a new jail and a,
we believe so. We believe.
you think you got enough area?
And that 3 acres of bad stuff, that literally will be our retention area, so.
On the Phase 1 environmental site assessment, this is Phase 1. It says no recognized environmental conditions. Do we have to do a Phase 2, or is this?
Phase 1's good on farm ground,
Okay.
when they don't find anything.
Okay, so since they didn't find anything, there's no
Yeah,
further,
if they'd have found something, then you gotta do further investigation.
You have to come back out.
and this is separate from soil compaction and all
Well,
that.
that would be my feeling. Is that right, Tom? Because we have to have a soil test to make sure we
Yeah,
can
this
build on.
is just environmental stuff.
Yeah, I still
Soil
think,
test is different.
I think we still need a soil test to make sure we can build on it. We have a lot of hoops we have to jump through. We just wanted to get you folks on board here and make sure you know what we're doing right now, so.
Appreciate the information.
But I did, like I said, I thought that was kind of cute. I read that yesterday in the paper, I'm going, hey, that's exactly what we're talking about, so maybe it's not a bad idea. That's all I have for a report.
Ed Robbins, would you like to come forward? I know you have something, I almost forgot about you.
Mine will be brief. I basically have 2 job descriptions that I'm asking to be sent to WIS. The first one is a pretrial service assistant caseworker for community corrections. They're actually writing a grant to have this position paid for, and for that we've kind of estimated on the high end what we think that will be for the grant. We know it'll be somewhere under that, but we need to get an actual pay range for that position. The other one is Judge Fall is adding some duties to the civil court reporter. It's more managerial type duties. Him and I are going to discuss those this afternoon, but we're going to, once we get that all done, I just need to send it. I don't want to drag that part of it out. I just want to be able to send it once we get everything detailed out on what it needs to be, so we can send it to WIS, so you don't have to wait another month.
So today you're looking for approval to send these 2 job descriptions to WIS.
These will go to where?
It'll go to WIS to be factored to see what levels it will be and where the pay range will fall.
Make a motion, we approve.
Just for clarification, one is a new position paid by grant, and the other is an existing position with additional duties?
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I was still under the understanding that all new positions would be vetted through the Personnel Committee before they go to council for approval to be factored? No?
Sure, the procedure, so.
Yep.
If that's the procedure, then. I apologize.
Procedurally, I think that's the way it should happen.
I do too. That was my understanding for new positions.
Are both of these new positions?
One.
Well, it would be a new position in the fact that we're having it refactored. So I think that would, in that sense, then be reason to have it go through the Personnel Committee.
I withdraw my motion until the Personnel Committee meets and advises us which direction to go.
How quick do you need that done to get that grant, do you know?
The grant's already been sent in.
Sent in, okay.
Yeah, so, but we've estimated, so
So
that's.
you don't have to have this job established before
No.
they grant you
No.
that money, okay.
So we do have one.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm just, with Judge Fall, I just knew I was gonna be presenting this one, and I figured I'd just send the other one as we were sending it, so.
So we need to wait on the Personnel Committee and do it correctly.
I don't think that it'd be a lengthy process, but I do think that is protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We'll get it scheduled.
All right.
Last thing on the agenda is approval of last month's meeting minutes. Has anyone had a chance to review? I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Approve the minutes as presented.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand, and opposed the same, and I have one who abstained.
I do too.
Two abstentions. Two.
Janice said we didn't get this back signed. You guys already approved it last time. Unless-
So was this approved in January?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she didn't receive it back, so it must have been,
So you said just sign it, passing it on.
it's just a transfer request. It was for the health department.
We have a note here from Jana. In January, we approved a transfer resolution for the health department. And apparently it didn't get signed,
Or it did, and it just got lost.
or maybe it did get signed and somehow it got lost in the shuffle. So we're being asked to sign this transfer resolution. I guess I'd feel most comfortable if we could go ahead right now and look for the approval in the January minutes. Are these January? These would be February, right?
Oh, February, yeah.
What was that for?
That is for the health department.
A lot of it was, it's like miscellaneous, office supplies, medical supplies, travel, training and education, all being transferred to the same line item, but I don't know what that line item is. And I know we did a lot of them with encumbrances in January. I think we'll hold off on this and not sign. There is something in approval in the minutes, but the dollar amounts do not match. So I'd feel more comfortable confirming in the meeting minutes that it was approved before I sign. Is there anything else?
Nope, that was it.
Anything from the general public? Councilman Barrett?
I have nothing.
Councilman Comfer?
Just a couple of things. In the commissioner's packet was this next level Whitley County sheet. I think we just need to constantly be aware of that as we're looking, particularly in this correctional mental health, of the different groups connected with it and other means of funding. And the district meeting for the Association of Indiana Counties is here in Whitley County. I don't know that, March the 18th. And I would just encourage all our county elected officials to participate in this meeting.
Thank you. Councilman Warner?
I have nothing.
Councilman Hodges?
I have nothing.
Councilman Wheeler?
I have nothing.
And I have nothing to add. So we'll adjourn this March 3rd meeting. Thanks for coming.